Hello, and welcome to the KeyHire Solutions Human Capital live stream series for small business owners. My name is Corey Harlock, and I am the creator of KeyHire. And today we are talking about underperforming managers. So let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping here first. So when we say human capital, what are we talking about when we say human capital? And it's essentially the value of the people in your business. You know, do you have rising stocks with rising value? Do you have stocks with diminishing returns? Do you have stocks that are going off the market? You know, what is the value of the personnel you have in your business? And that's going to play in a bit today as we talk about underperforming managers. So there are really two scenarios. We're going to just do really broad strokes here, but in my experience in dealing with small businesses, there are really two scenarios where we have underperforming managers. The first one would be where you have someone who's just not happy. So they've essentially quit your company, but they keep showing up every day and collecting a paycheck. So there are a couple reasons why this might happen. Number one, the culture might not be for them, or they could be a high performing person, and as a small business owner we might be limiting their ability to do the job. Or essentially we've hired someone who's better in their area of expertise than we are, but we're asking them to do things the way we do them, so we're limiting their performance. That's one way it can work. But the area I want to talk about today is you have a manager who used to be great. They were showing up every day on time, doing whatever you asked them, and delivering at a high level. And now they're struggling. They're missing deadlines. They're micromanaging their employees. They're making excuses where they didn't used to. And I want to kind of investigate what might be going on there. In my experience dealing with companies, this often happens with employees that have been promoted up through the ranks. So we've rewarded an employee for being loyal, and there's nothing wrong with these, but this is just the progression we might see. Someone starts on our shop floor, they show up every day, they are responsible, they show some leadership capabilities, we make them a supervisor, we give them an increase. They continue to show up each day. They're enthusiastic. They're bringing some ideas to the business. So we may move them into a management role. Over the next 4, 6, 8, 10 years, whatever that is, we elevate them in the company. So as they're elevating in their role, our company is growing as well. But what happens is oftentimes we end up with an overvalued asset in terms of that employee. And the way I would describe that is their experience is with your company, and the busiest company they've ever worked in is your company today. And they've not worked with any other company at this level. So not only is their experience very narrow, it's very shallow. You know, it's not that they've gone deep into this area of their business. It's not that they have a breadth of experience. They have experience in your company doing things a specific way. So they have a very narrow and shallow depth of experience. And as the company is growing, they don't have any experience, ideas, training, resources to draw upon to improve your systems and create scalable process and procedure to keep up with the demands of the business. This can happen in the sales organization. This can happen in the operations organization, whatever you're delivering. I call this phenomenon the Red Line Miata. If you take a car and if the engine were the operation and the driver were the sales, and sales are going like this, and the more sales grow, the more your foot goes down on the pedal. Eventually, your foot gets to the floor. You can't push that pedal any further to the floor, meaning your operation can't deliver anymore. Time has become their only commodity, and all they can do is work more, do more into the systems that they have built. The systems that the sales have outgrown the systems in the business. They're not scalable. So all we can do is, the only input we have at this point is time. All we can do is work more, work harder to try to meet the demand. But we all know, if you're in a Miata and you're going down the highway and your foot is on the floor and the RPM gauge is at the red line and you want to go faster, what do? The answer is nothing. You can't do anything. You can't put your foot any further down on the floor. And if you continue to drive the car at that rate, the engine's going to melt. Your operation is going to melt down. Your operation is going to break. So this is kind of a scenario where you've highlighted someone that used to be great and now they're struggling. And I wanted to give you a little background as to what might be causing that. And the answer is, they don't have a breadth or depth of experience to draw upon, and they don't have the capacity. They don't have any experience or greater knowledge to draw on. They haven't worked for a larger company that they can bring those processes and procedures into your business to make a scale, to help you scale. So what can we do about this? How can we solve this problem? And at a high level, there are really three things we can do. And the neat thing about these three things is they all work together. You can do them one at a time. You can combine two of them. You can combine all three. It depends on how deep your resources are, how much money you have, and how much time you have. And combining all three will get you the quickest result, cost you the most money. Using one at a time, there are some more cost-effective solutions, but it takes time to get the results. So what are these solutions? How can we work with someone who we have overvalued, right? We're paying them more. And when I say an overvalued asset, a way to measure that is, if you look at this individual and say, if they were to go into the market and find a job with another company, would they pay them as much as we have? And often the answer is no. I worked with a company where, they had an operations person they valued at close to $100,000 a year. But after kind of assessing that skill set, the real value of the individual was probably $60,000 or $65,000 a year. That's what they would get from another company. That's what I mean when I talk about overvaluing our assets. So what are the solutions? How can we help the individual? Well, the first thing is, the first option we can do is get them some training. If I go into an operation, when I talk to the operations manager, if they're struggling, questions I often ask are, well, do you have any Lean or Six Sigma training? Do you have any quality or safety training? And if they say, no, I don't have any of that, well, those are good places to start. Getting people the training that will help them with a continuous improvement program that would improve the efficiency and the production of an organization is a way to go. Cost effective to pay for someone to take a course, but the return on that investment is long tail. It's going to take a long time for them to understand and be able to come in and make meaningful change within the company. The second thing you could do is hire a consultant or a mentor, a coach, someone to come in and work with that individual and teach them and come up with the ideas and work with that individual to implement those ideas. Little more expensive. The return on that investment might come a little more quickly, but often, this consultant or coach isn't going to be there every day, and the individual will be there to make some decisions on their own, but we're going to have to invest a little more money if we want a quicker result. And then the third option is to bring in a mentor, hire a mentor for the individual. Bring the experience in-house. Bring the experience and the capacity in-house to mentor the individual, train that individual, create a contingency plan within the department. So if this new hire, this director level individual comes in and teaches them after a number of years, this person will then have gained that experience and that knowledge, that capacity to be able to continue the progression of the business. And what does bringing someone in with the experience look like? So if you are a $5 or $10 million a year business, if you bring in someone from a large company who has been trained in lean, who has done some Six Sigma Kaizen projects, who understands continuous improvement, who has worked with safety programs or created safety programs, who values safety first and quality second and everything else third. This person is going to bring in that capacity and be able to train your existing staff on that. And that value will trickle down through the organization because you have that steady presence. If you look at the sales organization, bringing someone in who has sales training, who understands how to set up targets and goals and KPIs to be able to measure people's performance on an ongoing basis. Someone who comes from an organization that values sales. Xerox is an easy one to use. If someone has led salespeople at Xerox, they probably really understand how to run a sales organization because Xerox values sales highly, probably above everything else. People that come from Xerox know how to sell. They know how to create a process. They know how to work a process. They know what activities make sense. They know how to manage people. They know how to work and manage people to targets and goals. So those are the three options. You can send the person to get the education they need, whether it be in operations or in sales. You can hire a consultant to come in and help you shape those programs and work with the individual to teach them. Or you can bring the experience in-house and hire that person. One thing I neglected to say with option number 3 is most expensive option, quickest return on investment. You're going to have to spend a lot of money to bring this person into your organization, but they will be able to have an immediate impact on the business because they're in your business every day and they're touching all aspects of your business and all of your people. So they're able to educate and work with each person and develop them and give them more experience and more capacity by which you're operating from. Your entire employee base now is getting educated and getting better and building a breadth of experience and knowledge which they can draw upon to make improvements to your business. So those are kind of the way I look at an underperforming manager. Really often it is a cry for help. And someone who's been with you a long time is going to have they're going to be really challenged to come to you and say, I'm struggling. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to fix these problems, because they've been relied upon and counted on and have been able to find the solutions. But eventually the business will outgrow their ability. And the telltale signs are exactly that. Someone who used to meet deadlines who is now missing. Someone who used to be a real fun person to work with and now they're not so fun. They're making excuses where they never used to. Another one is they're micromanaging their people. They're starting to really get into the weeds and everything else so they can say, well, I had to go fight a fire over here, so I wasn't able to get to this issue over here. Those are the symptoms. And we talked about the cures. You can get them training, lowest cost, longest return. You can bring in a consultant or a part-time mentor, mid-range cost, mid-range return, or you can bring the resource in-house and hire the expertise, highest cost, quickest return. Or if you have the means, you could do all three in concert and really improve your business in a big and meaningful way and create processes that will allow you to scale. This is a topic that's I'm passionate about, because at KeyHire, this is most of the work we do, working with small business owners to assess their leadership team and kind of find those weak spots, those constraints they have within their own personnel, and put a plan together with them to fix it, to remove those constraints, add capacity to their business, and create scalable processes and procedures so they can reach their growth goals. So that is where we'll end that topic. We're right at 15 minutes here. That is our those are my thoughts on underperforming managers. I hope there was some value for you there.